Hello, good evening, everyone. I see a lot of familiar faces. All right, so the irony isn't lost on me at all, Luke. I started and finished this book in 4 hours today, while juggling with deadlines, ensuring video edits are done, responding to brand calls, emails, and my son calling and saying, Mama, what's for lunch today? And believe me, every few pages that I turned, I just found myself breathing slower, feeling calmer. And I'm like, wow, it's really rare for a book to interrupt chaos, not with noise, but with stillness. And for someone like me whose life, whose career revolves around takes, textures, tempo, I realized that even calm has a flavor. And today, I am going to explore that flavor with the man who has distilled it in beautiful, really gorgeous 75 doses of wisdom in his amazing book, The Calm Prescription. Ladies and gentlemen, Luke Coutinho for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So Luke, we have to start with this question. Your book doesn't just talk about calm, it feels calm. How did this philosophy take root in your life? I mean, was there a moment where you realized that calm is your prescription?
Thanks. Good evening, everyone. Is everyone calm right now?
It's a good question.
So it's not a moment. It's for the last 14 years, we have a commonality between all of our patients. We have patients who come to us with cancer, 4th stage, 1st stage, 2nd. We have diabetics. We have people with bypass surgeries, autoimmune conditions. Some of these people are extremely healthy, and then they get sick. Some of them are running marathons, lifting weights, meditating. Everything's good. But there was one commonality that we found. For the longest time, we said, let's blame the food because our food is adulterated. But we're all eating the same food. Everyone doesn't fall sick. Now, today we can blame it on the air. But all of us are breathing the same air. Some fall sicker than the others. Exercise. Some were doing it, still falling sick. Some were not doing it and living to 95, 98, never done exercise in their life. But the one commonality, actually two of them, but the first one leads to the second, was chronic stress. Now, I can write a book on nutrition. That's not going to fix the problem. Everyone in the audience already knows what they should eat, what they should not eat, how much they should eat, when they should eat, what time they should eat. We know this. Exercise isn't difficult. We all know the basic exercises that we can do. With a trainer, without a trainer, we know it. But chronic stress, and you'll wonder, why isn't this in the limelight? Why is everyone just talking about nutrition, supplements, probiotics, different kinds of workouts? Why not chronic stress? Because you can't make money out of it. There's no product to sell. Besides my book. There's no product to sell. What do you sell? Chronic stress led to the second commonality amongst our sickest people, sleep deprivation. Now, what can you sell with sleep besides melatonin, which is now actually going to be literally, we're going to be fighting for it to be a medical prescription because of the immense damage that melatonin is doing to people. But the point is, so how do you make money out of sleep and chronic stress? So we decided that when we wanted to add impact to our people, how do we teach people to reduce chronic stress? And today, in fact, y'all are the first audience that I will be sharing this with because the rest of my talks are lined up over the next couple of weeks. So y'all are actually the first that's going to hear this. Every single meta-analysis study done for the last 15 years, but it's never come up in the limelight, states one thing. No matter how good your nutrition is, what fancy supplements you take, how much you work out, it's negated completely if you are chronically stressed. Now, this ties in with the latest research of Mr. Dan Buettner. If you all watched on Netflix, the Blue Zone documentary, how many of you watched that? So Dan Buettner spoke to me twice on a podcast. And the only research that comes out to the people living the longest, and we see this, my oldest patient is 104, 103, 102, 101, 100, 99, 98, 97. Some of them have gone through bypass surgery, some of them have diabetes. all of them have one commonality. They know how to de-stress. It's not like they're without problems. You can imagine the one at 104. They've seen both world wars. They've gone through a lot more than we'll ever go in terms of that chronic physical stress. Our stress today is different. It's emails, someone saying no to us, someone cutting in front of your car. You know, the next comment on Instagram can piss you off for days. Very different. And it comes down to one thing. The longest living people are not necessarily the healthiest in terms of they may have conditions, but they are the ones who know how to de-stress. And I see that. I have people walk and, I've become a very judgmental person over the years. When you see people, you see someone obese walking and you think, oh, diabetes, high blood pressure, etc., and stuff like that. I'm trying to work with it, but it's how the mind works. And they've not come for that. They've just come to have a general conversation about health. And I look at their reports, clean, no diabetes. And now I want to know why you're obese. You have to have something wrong with you. But they're just happy people. They don't care about what people say, what people think about them. They don't have bad habits. They're just genuinely happy people. So I'm convinced today, and I want to lift that stress off everyone who's chasing the next nutraceutical, etc., etc. Remember, the next time you're spending a lot of money on your food and your nutraceuticals, it's important. But it is not everything. And that's the reason we wrote the book, The Calm Prescription, because if that's what works, I can't go on. Even my core job is nutrition. My core work is immunology. But I can't say that's everything if it's not. So today, we teach people how to de-stress along with their nutrition plan. Exercise, but how you de-stress. How many of you keep hearing about healthy marathon runners dropping dead after a marathon? Why? No one goes into this and explores it further. Most of them are sleep deprived. If you are crazy enough to get off a New York flight, jet-lagged, and then run half a marathon, there's something wrong with you. I don't say it in a derogatory manner. There's something that you need to prove to the world. You need validation that you've done it, but you've not treated the body right. So that's the reason, that's our why. It's very simple. We believe that people have enough of information about nutrition, exercise, but everyone has to learn, and everyone knows how to calm down. It's just that we don't do it because we set a mindset that, but Luke, everyone's stressed. I had a patient yesterday, I was in Singapore. Luke, but everyone is stressed. I said, yeah, everyone is, but what are you going to do about it? Just because everyone is stressed, it doesn't mean we accept it. The moment our minds start to believe something, we don't find solutions, we don't find actions. Our mindsets will now become the belief system that is controlled. And so we want to break that belief system by teaching people the easiest ways to de-stress. And as you move, I'll talk a little bit more about the science.
No, and it is really easy. Like I said, I finished this book in 4 hours. Just 4 hours. And
Should we ask us some questions and actually
Yeah, ask me. I promise you I have the answers because I've actually underlined them.
Look at all these notes
Look
and
at
stuff.
those notes.
Yeah.
And we are going to talk about it. But before I actually open the book, and there is a reason why I put all of these bookmarks here, because I want to turn to that page, and I have a note written for you. My question is based on that. But before I go into that, I want to ask you, I know I'll pick up this book. I know Rishi, my friend, will pick up this book. And so many of the adults will pick up the book. But how will you make children pick up this book? I'm a mother of an 18-year-old. I know the stresses that the peer pressure is causing our young adults today. And these are truly beautiful and very easy solutions. But how do we get into the mind of a child? I'm from the Doordarshan age. I'm pretty sure you relate with that. We used to wait for Chitrahar. We used to wait for those little moments. We used to have Antakshari as our source of entertainment. But today, there is so much going on in the social media. There is so much partying. There's so much branding about How are you planning to get into the minds of the children? Because I think they are the future. And we need to, if you want to, I'm not worried about living to 104. I want my child to live even till 75, but a stressful, calm life. How do you plan to do that?
All right, so I have a very different perspective. I'm not going to try to get into the minds of children because children learn by emulating what adults do. Like, I wouldn't give this to my 11-year-old daughter to read either. We have to teach children through example. Every time they see us getting angry, feeling overwhelmed, and it's okay, we can as adults, but we need to teach them that, hey, it's okay, but it's not good, and this is how we handle it, because that's the only way children learn, through our own example. So this isn't for kids. I mean, you'll find a couple of kids going through it and stuff like that. Their moms will send a picture with them reading a chapter and stuff. But I think the only way children can learn is through the leadership of parents.
Yeah,
And when they see us stressed all the time, like one of the biggest issues of young girls today wanting to be thin and skinny doesn't come from social media. Parents think that. It can. But every time a young girl sees her mother on the scale trying to lose weight, she gets a message that, hey, that's how I need to be. And then we like to blame it on social media. We like to blame it on everything else. But children are constantly observing because that's how they learn. Till the age of 8 or 9, they're in a theta stage of learning, which is only through seeing. After 13, 14, try to changing your child's mind is very difficult. Why? Because the layers are formed.
Yeah.
So if we're going to teach children anything, it's between the age of, from the time they're born till that 8, 9. If your child is still imaginative, believes in Santa Claus, fairies, and pixies and stuff like that, you're really lucky. Keep it going because they're still in the theta stage. They can still learn through watching and seeing. So that's how it is, I think.
Very, very, very aptly said.
Yeah,
So basically, you're putting another responsibility on top of the parents' head.
I think...
like we already didn't have enough.
I don't think parents... but I don't think parents should see it as a responsibility.
No, it is something that comes from within to many people. Like when my son turned 18 just 2 days ago, I actually decided to have a spiritual talk for him. And that was my way of telling him that 18 is not just about, being legal and, turning around and answering the mother back, but it's also taking responsibility for your life as you get into adulthood.
Absolutely.
So I think, yes, we have to lead by example, and children do follow us. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to open the pages of my book, and I will answer many questions to you. So you want to talk a little bit about your 75, beautiful notes of wisdom, because this book, I genuinely feel a book has to be simple. It has to just enter your head. It is not about the way it is written, the flamboyancy that it shows. It is about getting into your head. And it got into my head. Like every page I will open today will actually be a pearl of wisdom. So I'll do it for you. There are 75 of them. We'll discuss a few of them. And in between, if you guys have any questions, feel free to pop in.
Sure. Yeah, let's
Should I? So I've opened page 88, and now I need my specs. ये होता है 40 के बाद ऐसा ही होता है. Okay, now I actually started propagating that home cooking is really good. It is important to actually feel your ingredients, and you talk very beautifully about how food can be used as medicine. And it should be used as medicine. It is not about getting the supplement, but it is about how you play with your ingredients at your home. I wanted to talk a little bit. I mean, it's ironical that, again, the food page opened up. That was not my plan. But just like the way my sari is matching his book, it is about food. So why don't you tell us about how food actually plays a very important role as medicine?
So everything we eat becomes part of us. So there are certain foods that excite our brains, gets us addicted to it, like your chips, your processed, your junk. It's designed to excite you. It's called a neuroexciter. So there are 3 ingredients that every food lobby and company uses: salt, fat, and sugar. You get the perfect combination right, you're addicted to it. Okay? So that's when it comes to food. You have neuroexciters. Then you have foods that can help you to sleep, which generate neurotransmitters like serotonin, tryptophan, precursors that eventually become serotonin that makes you feel good, relaxed, and you sleep. There are foods that can make you angry. What do you think these foods are that can make you angry? Anyone?
Spices? But
Spicy
you've spoken
but
about spicy food being actually good for you.
Again, it's spicy food people enjoy. It's when you overeat any food, a lot of the blood from your brain gets pulled down to your stomach to digest the excess food. You start to feel lethargic. You start to think you're hungry and eat more, or you get irritable. You get angry that you overate. Where are these emotions coming from? Just a change in your blood flow. You overeat, the blood flow requires to be more to your stomach. So anyone ever had a heavy lunch and had to go in for a meeting post that? And you try to keep your eyes open? Yeah, it happens all the time. Why? Why do you feel sleepy after your lunch, especially if it's carb heavy? Because all that blood has to leave your brain and go down to your gut for digestion. So every food has an impact on us. Now, the foods that can calm us down are all the foods that can break down into precursors of serotonin. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that makes us feel good, makes us feel happy. Neuroexciters, like your junk, is dopamine, which means I need more. I need the next bag. I need the next ice cream. You're already thinking about when you'll eat the next one, right? That's not happiness. That is addiction. It happens with food. It happens with cocaine, heroin, shopping, sex, everything. Addiction is about dopamine. And then you come down to what the substance is. So yes, the foods that you eat can have an absolute calming effect. If you eat a very heavy meal at night, you're going to be unable to sleep because your body is digesting, breaking down a carb into energy when you're trying to sleep. So the point is, all our ingredients. Now the beauty is whatever nature's given us is actually good for us. So now the spices that we're talking about are like your gingers, your turmerics, your cloves, your black peppers, all of these in small amounts. The spicy food that you're talking about in restaurants is a lot of chili and a lot of color. Looks good, tastes good, and it also got sugar. How many of you like a great Thai curry? How many of you know it has sugar in? And it's a good thing. Because like the Thai philosophy of food, Indian food also should have all the 5 tastes, where you get sweetness, but a little bit. So Thai curry tastes great, but it's got a little bit of sugar in. So you see, when it's made the right way, food can actually become comforting for us.
Absolutely.
People love to sleep, give their babies milk before sleep. Adults like to have milk. Why? Tryptophan. Tryptophan makes you calm, makes you feel good. So scientifically, yes, turmeric with milk is a natural sleep, aid for most people. It's still given to, babies in villages, adults in villages to sleep. And a lot of adults will do it. So that's the power, and that's why we say it's calming. Some people love to cook. How many of you love to cook? It's calming. I love to cook too. But the point is, when you're in it, it's like a meditation.
It's therapy.
It's therapy. So the whole idea is we can use this as a calm, because I'm not here to just tell people that they need to meditate. Meditation doesn't have to work for everyone else. Sometimes we force ourselves down a path, and we feel more guilty because meditation doesn't work. Something I've seen in the happiest people, they don't meditate. They're just happy.
Yeah.
They're just happy, and that's their meditation. They know how to be in the present moment. So yes, food is comfort for us. It's a calming tool for us.
Yeah, and especially if it's made at home with ingredients that you can see and you can feel and you can buy the way you want it.
Absolutely.
So,
I'll just go back to a point. We have a lot of clients and patients who were never losing weight with us. Their pains were good. And this changed for almost 80% in the first month of lockdown. People started losing weight, saying, hey, wow, Luke, wow, let's renew the program. I'm feeling amazing. My arthritic pain is getting better. I was thinking, do people have more time for exercise? There was only one change that we identified. There was no access to outside food. Remember the first month of lockdown? No one had any outside food. So everyone ate home food. And the effect was dramatic. Dramatic. So that's how it is. I know chefs at the best hotel who don't eat their own food. If you're vegetarian today, okay, and I love non-veg, but I try to be vegetarian as well, but I can never be a vegetarian when I'm traveling in hotels. Have you seen the calories in a bowl of dal? Have you seen the calories in most vegetarian dishes? It's insanely high. That one portion can feed 3 people, and the calories would be enough for a day. But the thing is, we miss out on these little things. And, so there's a lot to, motivate you. I'm also practical. I do order from outside. Sometimes I eat when I travel, but we got to make better choices. But if you have the luxury to eat at home, it is a luxury.
it is.
It is an absolute luxury if you have the ability to have homemade food.
Yeah, I started propagating this 17 years ago, and then COVID ke time I used to say, Bola tha na, learn how to cook. It's simple, it's easy.
So we'll do a show together where we talk about home food and we teach busy people how to make home food,
I think that's
including
a
men.
great idea.
Including men.
Men in the kitchen is one of the show names that I've already planned, so we're going to do that.
I'd
And
like
you'll
to
be
do
the
that.
first man in my kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, I also want to talk about this chapter, which I don't want to look for right now, but it's totally written in my head. Slump, dump, pump. And I did that with my mother-in-law this afternoon. She came home so angry because somebody she had gone with wanted to leave this lunch early and she couldn't have lunch. And she came and she was so angry. And she's highly spiritual and she's one of the calmest ladies you'll ever see. And I had just finished that chapter. I said, Mama, hold on. I went to her. I propped her up in the chair. And then I said, slump. Look, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I literally made her slump. I literally repeated everything. And I want you to tell them and not me. And in 2 minutes, she was a new person. So please tell them, because I think the audience is really going to benefit with that chapter, if you can just quickly tell them the essence of it.
So there's only one disclaimer: never do this while you're driving. Okay?
Sorry, I missed that.
Never do this while you're driving.
Well, yeah, of course.
So it works on a principle that I noticed in a classroom once. Do we have any school teachers here? Kindergarten? Any? Okay, fine. So all the children, as you can imagine in kindergarten, it's difficult to get them organized and sit in one place. So this teacher just says, okay, become a bag of potatoes, become a sack of potatoes and fall. And every child, no matter what they're doing, they act like a sack and they drop. In any position. No posture, nothing. The idea of slump, dump, and pump further built when I did a session about 3 years ago with IAS officers and the Indian Army. How do you get a soldier to relax? How do you get a normal constable who's on duty to relax? This was the question given to me when I addressed our Indian Army earlier this year, right after the Operation Sindoor. They prepared me for case studies. They said, hey, Luke, you talk about calm, nutrition, etc., but we're giving you case studies. Blood pressure is 120 by 80 when you're standing. The moment you need to put your hand on the gun or rifle, it's 200 by 120. Now teach us how to bring down distress. That's distress. The Army learned something called progressive muscle relaxation. If everyone right now, just tense your muscles. You can clench your fists, your calves, whatever it is, your entire body. Hold for 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds. You'll find your breath and just release. Yeah. What you'll find is an immediate calm moving into your body. The slump, dump, and pump is very simple. You're sitting, I want you to act like a sack of potatoes and just whatever posture. So you could be like, whatever posture it is. So you slump, okay? Now you're completely relaxed. There's no one telling you posture up, lower disc bulge, pelvic tilt, nothing. You're just complete. Even Shavasana is not even close to this, because Shavasana, you still got to keep your hands, legs falling, etc. Focus on your breath. There's none of that. You become a sack of potatoes the way you want. A lot of people fall asleep in this, so I would recommend that you try to be awake, not y'all when you do it, okay? Now when you slump, you're in your mind. Anything that's come to your mind, anything that's troubling you, a person you don't like, something's going wrong, whatever, you just have to imagine, okay, it's being emptied from your head into a garbage can. That's a dump. You see a person, into the garbage can, an event, into the garbage can, something someone said, into the garbage can, whatever it is. It's just a simple process of visualizing whatever's in your head goes into the dump. 3 to 4 to 5 minutes, and then you have the pump. Energy levels. Automatically. We teach people to do this between meetings, not during meetings, between meetings. It's a beautiful process that involves your body and your mind. As you know, the vagus nerve system connects everything. So you have muscle, relaxation, the mind, vagus stimulation. It's one of our most powerful things. So going back to the classroom, the kids get calm only in the slump. They don't do the dump or the pump. And then the teacher says, okay, everyone back up again, and people are calmer and stuff like that. So that's one of the most powerful things that we actually teach people. And like I said, you really actually can fall asleep doing it, because that is how relaxed you are.
And I proved it by example today, just this afternoon. It worked like magic. Okay, let me open one of my other pages. Morning routine. I'm a morning person. I wake up at 5:30. I have a beautiful routine. And you talk a lot about how important it is to have a morning routine. I want to know what happens on that day when you have a plan, you have a routine, but you wake up with okay, I'll go to an extreme, someone has died, or someone has fallen. Like, for example, one of my team members, I was telling you, was supposed to join me today, fell off the train and hurt his knee. What do you do? How do you come back to that routine on that morning? Mm-hmm. How do you how do you reset? The chaos has suddenly begun, no matter how disciplined you are. There are days when I can't work out, even if I really, and I am a disciplined person. But those days, I don't know how to control those days. How do you find a way to reset and, go on with that day?
All right, so it comes back to mindset again, and the word that you used, control. That's where we all go wrong. No one is in control of anything. People say, but you're in control of your breath, until you lose it. then you're not in control, you're hyperventilating. The point is to understand that these are one-off incidents. We are prepared as human beings to go through the most stress, but come back down to baseline. So it's okay if you don't go back to your routine that day.
Yeah.
Go back to routine the next day. But you may want to take things, like in my morning routine, I have a little bit of breath work. I have my prayer for sure. So no matter the worst extreme thing, someone died, etc., I would still focus on my breathing and I would still pray.
Oh, you
so
will?
I can still introduce it into my whole thing. I think most of our stress comes from the loss of control, that, oh, today I can't follow my routine. I planned a gym, but I couldn't go. I planned to eat all my home meals, but I got an invite for dinner. So we feel out of control, and I think the most important thing about calm is to release that control, that it's okay. Now, you know if you're making it a bad habit by not doing it the next day and the next day and the next day. The biggest problem that people have is inconsistency. It's not the routine. It's easy to make routines, but it's difficult to be consistent with them.
Yeah.
So the idea is just go with the flow. Some days we can't plan things. Life is going to throw that curveball, and we just go with the flow. But next day, come back on routine.
Come back to it,
so
yeah.
it's not about the person missing their workout. It's about how many workouts they plan to miss.
Yeah.
It's, and with workouts, there's always, you miss it in the morning, you can still do a walk, you can still do, we always have just 3 sets of push-ups, 3 sets of squats, 3 sets of planks, and trust me, that is a powerful workout for most people in less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And if you have just 4 minutes and you can do Tabata, does everyone know what Tabata is? It's a Japanese system of workout. 4 minutes. If we don't have 4 minutes now, maybe our next book will be on time management. But yeah, that's how
Yeah,
it is.
that
So
can be our
routines are beautiful. They're great. They guide, it gives us intentional living. We know how we want to start our day rather than waking up and, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
That's more stress. But when life throws out of routine, we need to adapt. And as humans, we're creatures that can adapt beautifully. But why can't we adapt? What comes in between us and adapting? Our own selves.
Yeah.
Resistance. Right, we're all breathing Mumbai air today. I track the AQI probably every hour. The point is, while we complain, today we've raised the PIL with the Supreme Court of India as a fundamental right for clean air. But still, I need to adapt. I have a choice, leave or stay, but I need to be here. How do I adapt? Limit exposure, make sure I'm eating well, make sure I'm doing my workouts indoors. As humans, we have to learn how to adapt, but resistance comes in between our ability to adapt as human beings, and that's where the problem starts.
Yeah, and adapting also to realize that at the end of the day, it's also about balance, which is the other thing you talk about in one of your chapters. Because like you said, if you miss a workout one day, if something goes awry on one day, just make up for it
Get
the
back
next
on
day.
track the next day.
Because the final goal is to achieve that balance.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's beautifully said. Tell us about your entire day's routine. You told us a little bit about what you do in the morning, but I think everybody would like to know, how does Luke's every day begin and end?
So every day is different depending on where I am. If I'm lucky to be in one place, I love my routine, so I usually wake up, I don't get out of bed without a little bit of prayer, visualization. It could be just 2 minutes or 3 minutes. I've still not learned to pray that long. And I get off the bed straight into a stretch, because I just like doing a stretch. It could be 1 minute. I use the bathroom, etc. Then I just love doing push-ups no matter what. It's just something that is ingrained in my head. So some days it's 5, some days it's 10, some days it's 30, some days it's 40. I don't have a plan. But the point is that just gets me going. That kind of keeps me going. Then I have my first set of US patients in the morning because of US time difference. I have breakfast maybe at about 10 o'clock. And then I move to my clinic and I see patients. My workout time is between 12 and 1:30 in the afternoon. I like that position because I've seen a couple of patients de-stress, workout, I have my lunch, and then see the balanced set of patients. I try to get into bed by 9 o'clock. I know, very boring, etc., and stuff like that, but I love it. And latest by maybe 10, 10:30. If I'm traveling, I just adapt to the new time zone. I adapt to the place. I adapt to, if it's a place where there's a beach, I would not be doing push-ups. I would be swimming. So I like to keep an open routine and stuff like that.
And what time do you have dinner, you said?
6:30.
6:30.
Yeah,
Okay, you
that's
beat
what I
me
would
by an
do.
hour. I eat by 7:30. I'm also usually in bed by about 9:30. And I think that's our...
But I do want to tell all of you that this is ideally what I would like to do. I
Yeah.
do achieve 80%, but many times it's absolutely impractical. So I just adapt and try to get the good days right. That's how it is.
So if I had to ask you 3 of your most favorite notes of wisdom out of the 75, what would they be?
So, before we wrote this book, we didn't know the latest research that I just shared with you all. The latest research right now, the easiest way to de-stress in 3 minutes, which can drop your cortisol to 30 to 35%, which is huge. Dropping cortisol in the body between 30 to 35% is huge. It drops inflammation, etc. Now, again, 30 to 35% is also dependent on you, your gender, the kind of stress you have. There are two kinds of stress. Great stress, motivating stress is very different from the emotionally nagging stress. Resentment, guilt, anger. How do I pull this person down? They're two very different stressors. Remember that. That breathing technique is the 4-7-8. And it's the first audience that is hearing it today. And we put this in the book a long time ago, but the science is, it's taught in the armies and the navies all across the world. The 4-7-8 is the quickest way to de-stress in 3 to 5 minutes. So a 4-second inhale through your nostril, 7-second hold, and an 8-second exhale through your mouth. So you just let it out, 8 seconds. The second one that dropped cortisol to about 25% was diaphragmatic breathing, which we all know as belly breathing. What is belly breathing? You inhale through the nostril and just imagine a balloon filling up, like you're filling air in a balloon. That's your stomach, your tummy. It's inflating, and then you exhale through your nostril, you're deflating. 3 to 5 minutes of that is a 20% drop in cortisol. And the third was box breathing. 4-second inhale, 4-second hold, 4-second exhale through the nostril, and 4-second hold. That's it. In 3 to 5 minutes. Now, you'll do the breath work, your cortisol will drop. Your problems on the other side will still be there. But the idea is to drop your stress levels in. Now, when you correlate this with our Indian tradition of pranayama, we are sitting on science for the longest time. All of these breath works are extracted from pranayama and very well packaged. You have to give it to the West. They know how to package stuff and sell it back to us. The point is we're learning now, we're getting better at all of these things, but breath work is the quickest way to de-stress. Before making a decision, it is also the quickest way to de-stress. Whether it's a strategic decision, it's a decision of life and death, like in the army, etc. It is breath work, breath work, breath work. What followed after that was music, petting a pet, and the last was a gratitude journal. Now, we all think, the gratitude journal is right at the top because that's what Instagram screams all the time. It's important, but your breath work wins. And this is something that's free. We can all do it at any given point. It doesn't cost money. You can still do your gratitude, listen to music, have a pet, etc., etc., etc. But breath is with you wherever you are. Just don't do it outside in the outside air right now, especially in Mumbai and Delhi. That will de-stress. That'll actually add more stress to you. So make sure you do it indoors with your purifiers on. So that's my favorite one. The slump dump is my favorite one. And I think we've written a chapter on sleep.
Yep.
That is God's gift to all of us to de-stress naturally. That's why we sleep as human beings. A lot of people have questioned science. Why do we need to sleep? And then every scientific research paper has come down, without sleep, we would die. So sometimes sleep becomes your biggest de-stressor. How many of you feel amazing when you've had a great night of sleep and you wake up and you just feel like, I want this feeling every day? What was that? Did you do anything? No. Sleep. You just slept. There was no 4-7-8, no, algorithms to breathe, etc. You just did what was natural to every human being and animal. You slept. So that's my favorite way of de-stressing as well. Sleep would be one of them, yeah.
That's great, but you know what my favorite ones are? Mm-hmm. I loved your chapter on smiling.
Smiling, yeah.
I loved your chapter on getting together with friends, with family, and reminiscing.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Great stories. I loved your chapter about not wanting to pull others down. The world is so competitive now. Just wishing everybody well. And I feel that so much. And I promise you, Luke, we'll be meeting after many years, and it's unbelievable how so many things I found to connect with when I started reading the book. You won't believe it. I've just started a show which is getting hosted at the Taj. We already shot a couple of episodes. And my intro line is that in today's world of chaos, we have forgotten how to pause, stay still, and to connect. And that's all your book talks about. And that brought a bigger smile to my face. I believe in all of these things that you have written, including sleep and the other, beautiful pearls of wisdom that you have shared here. I think in today's competitive, crazy days, I'm glad there's someone like you who's propagating and who's not a Swami. Because people will hear this from a Swami. They will not hear it from, a regular person who talks about nutrition and health and stress. I think it is so good that you are propagating these other values that people have just forgotten
I'll just break down each of your points. So smiling is great. So there's a little thing as well.
Though I have to interrupt you here. There's one line where you say you fake it even if you don't feel like smiling. And I don't believe in that. I say you have to teach people how to feel it and genuinely smile.
Even fake smiling, okay, may not work for the other person, may work for the other person, but it reduces cortisol. So just sitting with a smile on your face, even if you don't, it calms you down. Like fake laughter clubs, what do? They forcibly make you laugh, whether you feel like laughing or not. But it has a dramatic effect because, see, it has nothing to do with the conscious or the subconscious mind. Smiling and laughing has everything to do with vagal tone.
Yeah.
It's a vibration. It's when our muscles change. So you can just sit there and smile and feel calm even though you're angry. Those are the most dangerous people, by the way. They just smile and then, oh no, that's dangerous. Something's going to come up and stuff. So laughing as well. I want to break down your second point because we spoke about longevity and being happy. All these people that we spoke about being happy have problems in life. They've just learned what's worth it and what's not worth it.
Yeah.
But what you said, social connections is the second biggest factor. You can have the best nutrition, you can have the best exercise, but if you don't have great uplifting social connections, I'm not talking about the number of Instagram followers or you're invited to a party that has 300 people and you're more stressed out of what to wear, how to be, etc. The point is a few of these relationships is independent of nutrition and exercise. And that's what I see in these people who have no disease and they may be a little bit obese, they may be whatever. They're just happy people, they have great friends, and they have absolutely no condition. So I wanted to pick on that because I do want to take the stress off a lot of people who think that I need to exercise more, I need to control my diet. Trust me, if you're happy, it's important. So please also look at your nutrition and exercise. But it is not everything. So if you own these two things of learning how to not take stress, learning how, you have these connections that what is an uplifting connection? It makes you feel safe. That no matter what happens, I know this person got my back. You may find it in a partner, you may not find it in a partner, and that's okay. You may find it in a friend, in a sibling. But those are precious because the more safe we feel, homeostasis is what longevity is. So that stress of, no, you have to lose weight, you're carrying abdominal fat, endometriosis. Yes, on paper, all of that will come true. It is true, it's science, but it doesn't always come depending on the state of your mind. So I'm not here to say that if you're just happy, and there's a different kind of happiness. The happiness that comes from alcohol and drugs is not the happiness I'm talking about. That's a bigger problem. That's a bigger problem. You're doing it because you're sad, you're lonely, to feel happy. So I'm not talking about it. A lot of people, oh, Luke, I'm that person. I club every night, I drink every night. And I'm like, you're so not that person. It's different. But you're doing it the right way. You're drinking, you're doing all of them. I don't promote any of this. Intention is everything. You're drinking to drown your problems. You need help. It's not happiness. Happiness is the alcohol and the dopamine. So that's how it is. So I just wanted to break down those points of yours because they're absolutely connected with health span, lifespan, and everything that we talk about.
And they're beautiful. Another great chapter is on sunlight. We've grown up being told by parents ki jago sun ke saath, so jao sun ke saath. But he doesn't understand Hindi. So I had to check myself there. Rise with the sun and go down with the sun, go to sleep with the sun. Why are people so excited about working late nights, including teenagers? They want to study through the night. They want to party through the night. I struggle with my teams all the time. They work the whole day and I'm like, I'm awake in the morning. I need my answers in the morning, not when you wake up at, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Why is there so much importance being given or, enjoyment happening with the fact, with staying up the whole night and turning the routine and not going the way nature planned it for us?
So it's quite difficult to change what is happening today because everyone makes their choices based on their mindsets. Teenagers today, young adults, they've learned it from the generation above. Come home, work late, party late, etc. We can understand one night in a week, you go home, you go out partying, come back at 3, 4 in the morning. The body can handle it beautifully, but now it's become every day because everyone has a social calendar. Everyone's dependent on time. Though, what about me? I worked 9 hours at work, and what about my time? So I want to stay awake late. The point is everyone gets to make choices in life, and social media is one of the biggest drivers for this culture today. The biggest drivers, because most people are not even aware of how long they're scrolling.
Yeah.
They think it's
like
less
a black
time.
hole. You just get stuck in it.
And when do you do that? Probably in the evening, night, when your mind is free, and then you see more and you want to see more. I mean, look at the OTT platforms. They're binge-watching worthy programs, etc. and stuff. But the point is people have become slaves to dopamine. That's it. Everyone has a choice unless it's too late. We have children with cancer today, 11, 15, 19, 17, and they realize that they have to sleep better if they want to get better. It's as simple as that. And the point is they start to make a change because they have a larger purpose, which is to live. So the point is, as a culture, we've changed this. But we can't say that this is a problem because there are many cultures around the world that don't do this. There are parts of Europe that will have their dinner by 6 o'clock. They'll be in bed by 9 o'clock. I'm not comparing the two. We're very different countries. But it becomes a personal choice to understand where we're going wrong.
Yeah.
And it is a huge issue. Sleep deprivation, sleeping well, sleeping late at night. Once in a way, you have work, etc. It's fine. But for everyone else, and because we've given into this culture, I mean, how is India projected? We were projected as the offshoring, country of the world where we'll handle American businesses and times and call centers, etc. I used to work in a call center and do the night shift, etc., and I realized how unnatural it was and made a choice to leave. But the point is, it's a massive change. We can't sit around expecting that change to come from the top. We have to make a personal change right now because I can guarantee you once again, your nutrition and your exercise is literally useless if your sleep and your stress levels are compromised. Today, a lot of senior citizens come and they're so stressed out. Luke, my child's telling me now, don't eat brown bread, eat flax bread, eat it. And I just tell them, are you happy? I mean, let's be honest, they've reached 80 years old eating all of that stuff. They're doing better than half the people in their 20s. I just ask them to focus on being happy, being calm, relaxing, and sleeping on time. Because my bigger concern of senior citizens is the amount of time they spend on WhatsApp forwards. I actually charge now to read the WhatsApp forward if they send it. Like, hey, Luke, is this right? Hey, Luke, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? But that was a joke. But the point is, it's an issue. Because you know what they're doing? They're adding so much more information to their brains. Now there's fear. I'm not doing this. Should I be doing this? Now there's doubt. Because they're not getting a clear answer. So they look for their answer on Instagram, which is the worst place to get clarity. So the point is, we need to make personal decisions. And all this is connected with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. I can guarantee you that. Again, you can't make money out of these things, right? The point is, think of your brain, billions of neurons. Look at the amount of stimulation it's getting every single day. It's got a life of its own. Your neurons start to die after a while. Alzheimer's, dementia, I'm telling you, we're starting an epidemic. It's only the start that people are seeing right now. It's going to become as common as cancer, as common as diabetes, because people, to get in dementia and Alzheimer's, you got to go back 20 years. So if you're sleep deprived today at 30 and 40, you know you're placing yourself in that path. It's not type 3 diabetes. It is sleep deprivation and chronic stress. So that's why I'm going on telling you all, do your nutrition, do your nutraceuticals, but where you want to put all your money and your time is stress and sleep. Now, what do I mean by money? Like, I would spend money on anything that can give me better sleep. I'm not talking about drugs. I would talk about a better mattress, a more comfortable hotel, a flight that is not a red-eye flight. I would spend more money to get a flight that doesn't compromise my sleep. That's important to me. I don't need designer clothes, I don't need et cetera, et cetera. That's my personal choice. And I would spend my money on anything that can reduce stress. So if I need to hire 5 people to do a job that can reduce my work by 15%, I would rather pay those people than take the stress. It's a personal choice. Because I know that those two are the top. That's the truth about longevity. Everyone's out there selling you a supplement, red light therapy, cold plunges. I don't have a problem with it. But it is not the solution without your stress and your sleep. So, yep, that's how it is. That's the bitter, ugly truth. But
No,
it gives us a lot of hope to focus on.
There's also
Yeah.
positivity, right?
can focus
You also
on
speak about being positive.
Yeah.
See, I've done my homework.
Yeah.
4 hours of good reading, buddy. I think being positive and staying positive, we've been blessed with a great life today. You know, yes, stresses are there, chaos is there, but we also have so much more than what our parents were exposed to. So I think we should be positive about it, happy about that, grateful for it, and live life and spend on, you know, ensuring that we sleep well, even if it means taking a little holiday.
Yes.
And, getting that calm. I'll open up to the audience now. Anybody who has some questions. I don't know if you've read this book, but if you haven't, you must. But apart from that, I guess everybody knows Luke well enough to ask pertinent questions. Yes, lady in the red, if we could get a mic to them. Is that possible? Yeah, the mic is coming. What's the time? Yeah, we're good on time.
Hi, Luke.
Hi.
Hi, Amrita.
Hi.
I'm Dr. Arpita Sen. I'm a doctor, author, as now currently my third profession is being in HR. I lead the learning and organization development for a fintech organization. So my question will be from the corporate side. Suppose on Monday I resume work and I wish to introduce a rest-centric productivity design as a part of the employee wellness part for my people. How should I do it? I would want some tips from you. Because corporate is full of stress. We have deadlines, we have clients. and we
Every
have-
field is full of stress, trust me. Even cooking has its own moments of stress.
And with things like 70 hours a week, 90 hours a week, which is now become more of a trend and a fashion in the corporate world. If you want to grow higher, you need to put on more hours. So that at the end of the day, we compromise our sleep because of that. So how do I balance it out as a HR professional?
Okay, so great. Before you even put a plan in place, because we've done corporate events around the world, and this is the same question I ask everyone. It's a mindset that everyone is stressed, everyone's working 70 hours, everyone's working 90 hours, and everyone's burning out. So when organizations call me to speak on burnout, I say, okay, assemble in the room, who all are burnt out? I want to speak to them. In an organization of 10,000 people, there'll be 3 people in the room who are burning out. And when I speak to them, because I want to understand, everyone loves to say, I'm stressed, I'm burnt out, and most people aren't. They're just overwhelmed with thoughts, lack of time management, and the wrong priorities. And when I speak to these 5 people, one or two of them are genuinely stressed. They're a caregiver to a patient at home, cancer, etc. The other person has a bad manager, okay, stressing them out. And the other person or the other couple of people are their choices. After work, instead of going home, they go to the bar, they drink, they go out partying. They now sleep 4 hours when they could have slept 8. They come to work burnt out. And the organization takes it on them that, oh, there's burnout. The biggest issue that happened in HR in our corporate world was, of course, everyone, I'm not saying this to you, I love speaking without filters. Like, where did corporate wellness come in? When did it come in? When we needed a to-do list to show our value adds as companies, etc. I was part of IBM. Everyone has a to-do list. Oh, let's do this, let's do that. But what are we fixing into? Shouldn't health be a personal responsibility for everyone? The job of an organization and an employee is the employee agrees to do this work and the organization agrees to pay them. Health has to be a personal responsibility. Today, look around on social media, everyone's outsourcing their problems to everyone to fix it. No one wants to take personal responsibility to fix it. So my point is, when you go back and make this plan, actually find out what is the problem in your organization. With that work schedule, can people actually not sleep 7 hours? And also look at, I always ask this, is everyone in the organization sick? The answer is no. A lot of them are fit. What are they doing differently? It comes down to choices. It always comes down to choices. So first you teach them 4-7-8. Then you make a plan where people can revisit their mindsets. Otherwise, no matter what event you do for your employees, there will always be the same thing coming up over and over again until people learn to change their mindset and they're coached into, like I remember, it was G in the Philippines. They divided the company into two halves, and they made them compete amongst each other. Steps. They fixed an entire problem of lifestyle. So I would say go back, look at the actual real problem in your organization. First, look at changing mindsets to people, encouraging people to own responsibility. You can get the best nutrition into the cafeteria, people will still go down and have the samosas and the tea and everything else, right? So that's not an organizational problem, that's a people problem. So first teach them the mind. Everything starts from if they can control their stress levels, etc., etc. You know, I ask them tough questions. Oh, I'm stressed, Luke, in my organization. Okay, let's talk about what stresses you out. And then it comes down to, oh, the manager didn't like my problem. And wake up, you're in the real world. No one has to like your ideas. But the point is, I get where you're coming from. It's your job. Teach them from mind up. Calm, mindsets. Then you come down into encouraging. Every corporate is, hey, let's work out, let's run marathons, let's improve nutrition. You're only scratching the surface. Until the mind learns to calm and change and people learn how to adapt in difficult, that's why we don't call it work-life balance, we call it work-life equilibrium. Some weeks are tough, and then the scale bends. Some weeks are easy. Like we get amazing patients to work. Then you get to one or two horrible patients, the worst attitudes, threatening to sue you even before they start the program. But we realize it's an equilibrium problem. We try to go back to the good ones that are there. And then we make our policies a little stronger and we decide who we want to treat. So the point is, I have a very holistic overview on that, but start from the mind. Yeah, maybe you can give each of them a copy of the book to start with.
Surely
Yeah,
I'll
that'll
do
work
that.
both ways for us. Joking. But yeah, start with your plan in place. Don't let it become a normal HR to-do list. Employees see through that. You know, if you get with the mind, I think emotional support for employees is what people really need right now. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Sujit here, he in fact is the marketing head of Godrej, and I have had the opportunity of working with them. They run the most beautiful organization. They run the most gorgeous cafeteria with great, healthy food. I've eaten there. And they actually are one of the most organized, I'm not just saying it because you're a very good friend, I really mean it. Their teamwork is brilliant. Every time I have done any commercial with them, any project with them, it has been seamless. So over to you for your question.
Likewise, Amrita. I mean, it's a pleasure working with Amrita. The Mamika magic is still here. And Luke, a big fan of yours. In fact, at Godrej, we have a corporate wellness program where we follow Luke's program. I'm a beneficiary of that. My question is a pretty naive one, actually. You know, with the clutter which is there in the social media, on the WhatsApp groups, that protein is good, creatine is bad, and this is good, take it before workout. How does one, navigate that whole clutter and find what's good for the person?
See, it's the wrong place to look for clarity. Because there'll always be opinions. I mean, there are some accounts that will give you clarity, but it's difficult. Like if I want to be myself on social media, I can't. Because everyone's different. Creatine may not suit you. It may do well for you after your workout. For some people, it's brilliant during their workout. So you can't be yourself on social media. So everyone has to follow a very rigid mindset. You have to get back down to the science and you have to take expert advice, especially in a world of so much, because that's what social media is designed. Like protein is overhyped. It is overhyped today. I mean, everyone has access to ChatGPT. Let me give you a prompt. Okay, go into ChatGPT and say, do a meta-analysis study of every research scientific paper on protein and tell me how much is the average protein that people should take. And your whole list of influencers will suddenly be like, whoops, wrong. And add the prompt, come up with your answer as an AI model. Because otherwise it works on opinions and what it's programmed with. The results are 100% accurate, not for medical diagnosis, for common sense. And then you realize the entire hype. Most people are overdoing it on protein. I mean, come on, everyone should be muscular and looking amazing by now with the amount of protein people are taking today. We rarely see that. Why? Because it's too much for most people. It's not required. We recently had a 23-year-old boy who did a natural bodybuilding competition. He came 5th in India. Okay, body percentage of fat percentage, 5%. If you're going to my page, you'll see his picture. I've been tracking every part of his diet. His highest protein was 2.2 grams per kilo of body weight in his final stage. Regular people are like, oh, Luke, I'm on 1.8, man. I hit 2 grams macros. That guy at 5% professional bodybuilding reached 2.2 in the last 1 month. So to answer your question, social media honestly has become a curse more than anything else. There are some people doing great content, but finally we need to understand everyone's different. Even if ChatGPT will tell you it's anywhere between 1.4 to 1.8, it's still going to be different for you, depending on how much you work out, your quality of protein. Is it coming from food? Is it coming from a supplement? Your water intake? It's so difficult. That's why health is a huge issue. I love what China has done.
Difficult to find the right expert, and everybody cannot afford
See,
you.
it's not about afford. It's not about afford. And when I love to talk about that point. People pay for value in life. That's it. People pay for value. People pay for transformation. Even I don't know why people pay me so much sometimes, but the point is, at the end of the day, it's value and transformation, because we add value and we will transform people's lives. The point is not affordability. The point is, India has a mentality, and I don't mean it in a derogatory way. We're always looking for free stuff.
Exactly.
Always. So which protein's cheaper, but advertise well, let's go and take it. And that mentality is not our fault. It's because we were once a colony of the British Empire. It's in our generational download to suppress emotions, not talk about them, always look for free, because that's where we came from. It's changing today. Today people I want to spend on quality. I mean, look at the amount of Lamborghinis on the road. People have money look at the iPhone. How much is the iPhone? And people complain to pay for their health. It's a mindset change again. So coming back, it's always good to go directly to an expert, because even if you ask me a question on Instagram, I cannot be accurate with you. I don't have the information, the data that I need to give you a professional expert answer. And that's why by the ICMR, doctors can never give medical advice on Instagram. They can't. Why? So China's done a beautiful thing. Anyone putting up health information has to be certified. So then that's going to clean up the system, right? That'll clean up the system. So it's always good. That's why I'm a fan of blogs, because blogs give you a really good idea. You don't have to put 30 seconds in a blog, right? Reels to work have to be 30 seconds. How do you solve someone's gut problem in 30 seconds? By talking rubbish, right? You just got to get the keywords out. So the point is, when you go to a blog, then you learn, because in a blog we can write what's happening. You can say, oh, this is going wrong with me. This is a symptom. This is what I can do. So social media is actually a huge, huge, huge problem right now.
But I think that's where your book comes in very handy, and this is my piece of advice, if I may. You must read this book, because what it does is it actually opens up your mind and intelligence to what are the factors that you should be looking out for. Once you identify that and you identify what is lacking in your life, like I identified about 10 to 15 things out of 75 which I knew I needed work on. And then you find your expert that suits that side of the help that you need. So I think at least this is a great start to at least identify the problem. Most people don't even know what they are suffering from, which is, they don't even like to go to get medical checkups done. We have a rule, just a little before birthday, go and get an executive test. I think it's so important to know what's going on in your body, and then identify and then find solutions.
So self-awareness can only come from a calm mind.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Absolutely.
But it's a great question. I mean, it's always going to be, and now I will be honest with you, the government of India, the Ministry of Health, is kind of trying to really, really work hard on, more structured expertise coming out, because it's a huge issue in the rural areas. People are fooling people into buying products. So there is change happening. I think we just got to be positive as people and wait. It's a big country, and a lot of people don't want to cooperate with things that are meant to be cooperated with. So yeah, it'll take some time. But thank you for your question.
Thank you so much. I mean, that was amazing. And thanks, Amrita, for bringing that great energy as always. Thanks.
Always a pleasure. We've been asked to wrap up, but can we take the gentleman's question quickly?
I have 2 questions as well.
Oh,
for the
yes, you
audience.
do. Yeah. Very important ones, that too.
My name is Govind Saroop. I have a little question, because about stress, I fully agree with because that is something which one has to manage oneself. But there has always been a debate about the timing of the sleep, means how much sleep you need. My personal experience is, now I'm 80-year-old, that I can do with very little sleep without having any repercussions on my lifestyle or anything. So I just want to know that whether you have any opinion on that, so long I do not feel that it is affecting me. Is it okay to have the same routine which has been there, or one has to be perforce take 7 hours sleep or 8 hours sleep, or take some medicine for that or some tablet for that?
Right.
That's all.
So did you just say that you're 80 years old? How old did you say you were? You said you're 80.
80, 80.
Guys, I mean, this is an
Unfortunately-
amazing 80-year-old man, fit, fine. I mean, and this is what I mean. This is graceful aging. To answer your question, as we age, our sleep becomes lesser. The question you have to ask yourself is, when you wake up, do you feel fresh and ready to start the day?
Yes.
Or do you feel, I need more sleep?
Right.
It's yes, then it's good enough for you. No need of medicine, no need of 7, 8, nothing. That's noise. You have to listen to your body. For everyone, it's different. Even for the younger people, it's not 7, 8. Someone who's worked out heavy, the body may wake them up in 8 hours because it needs more hours for recovery. For someone who's just been sedentary, they may wake up in 7 hours or 6 hours because the body's finished its work. So you're on the right path, and great stuff. Good to see you.
Thanks a lot.
See. Okay, I have
let's
two
take your
questions, and I have two
yeah.
books that I want to give the winners. Anyone can answer this question, okay? All of you know that most people know what they should be doing for great health. What is the problem? What is the problem? People know what they should do. Your employees know what they should do. What is the problem? Why don't people do what they're supposed to be doing? I want honest answers, no filter, no nothing, whatever, and stuff like that. No, take a mic, please. I won't know who to give the prize to.
Couple of
Take a
people
mic.
who had raised their
Yeah.
hands to
I'm going
ask
to take
the
two
question.
answers on the first question
Maybe
and
they
two on the
can
second,
answer it.
please. Yeah?
Some of the people there who had raised their hands earlier, maybe they can answer it. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Kopal Dhandania, and I work in climate science and climate change in UN. I would say, and it has worked for me for so many years now, that one is laziness. People are inherently very lazy.
Yes.
And second is consistency. If you're consistent and inconsistency, if you're inconsistent, anything that you do will not work. And consistency is what gets you where you want to be.
Excellent.
In terms of everything.
Thank you. I'll take one more question, one more answer on this, please.
The girl there? The girl there behind? Yeah, that. No, behind her. Yeah.
Probably it's the sense of contentment and fulfillment. That is like you don't know, you don't have any purpose in life, and you feel that what you are doing in your life is probably not enough for you, or probably you should be doing more. So you try to find out something more outside. You don't look inside within you. So that you always look for satisfaction outside. You are not happy with, as you said earlier, that it's okay, even if one day you could not follow something. Like it always happens with me, I try to follow discipline, but not a single day in my life I could follow my discipline. I always have a guilt about it. So that guilt kills me daily, and I have like on a very bad state of my life, health-wise. So it's, I think, something not inner fulfillment and contentment and lack of purpose in life that leads that something I'm not able to do. So I strive for more and more, and probably I strive for something wrong
Okay.
instead of right.
Okay, great. I've taken two questions over there. I love both your answers. They're brutally honest, and that is the actual answer. Most of us are lazy. Most of us are complacent. Most of us lack purpose in life, where we feel that the larger purpose in life requires us to look after our health, etc., etc. So I would like to give a copy to each of you. I came with only 2 copies, but I promised you another question. So my team may just take your address and send you a copy later. My second question is, look around at the most successful people in the world. Again, this doesn't mean that we're less successful. Look at your role models, if you have role models, okay? Pick up 2 value systems that you see in them as the reason to them being a role model when it comes to health and fitness. Okay, over there, please. No, take the mic, please, yeah.
Hi, my name is Nehal. So suppose if I say Mark Zuckerberg, he wears the same t-shirt, or like the head of Amazon, he wears the same black t-shirt. He doesn't spend time to change for fashion. He doesn't wear a Louis Vuitton. And he is regular, he spends more time to think, and then he performs. So 80% time thinking, 20% time in action, and not giving into fads and everything.
Okay,
So that's
all right,
what-
thank you. The next one who'll answer this?
The lady there in mustard?
Let's take a guy now, please.
Actually,
Diversity,
there is one
etc.
guy who was raising
Yeah,
his hand
fine.
also. Oops, sorry, I'm biased towards women. They give me that smile and that please, I can't help it. I feel
Hi, so
emotional.
my role model is Virat Kohli, and when you look at him,
He has the mic, just keep it closer to your
Hi, so my role model is Virat Kohli, and when you look at him, he's very hardworking. He's just consistent. When you when you hear his interviews, he's like, I can eat the same food for 6 months without any problem, and that's what motivates me. I've been trying to like lose weight, but it is what I've been struggling with it. I find more excuses than motivations, and maybe something I can learn from him.
Awesome, great. I liked your answer, but you missed one part. I said specific to health and fitness. So you were great on that part of it, but I think he wins the prize because, again, the two words that come out is consistency and discipline. The reason I asked this question is, team, if we're walking back with any impact today, the answer revolves around consistency and discipline. Not how fancy your diet, who your nutritionist is, how expensive they are. It doesn't matter. What matters is consistency and discipline to achieve anything in life. And you look at anyone, any role model, they only exhibit these two things. Discipline, consistency. Discipline, consistency. So that's the answer at the end of the day. You can have all the knowledge in the book, but if you don't practice it, do I need you to practice 75? No. Practice even one, but be so consistent with it. When you get bored, you can maybe take the second one. And I guess that's how I would like to end this. Can I have those two girls come down for the book, please?